Joining us now with some reaction to the news, Tony Grossi of ESPNCleveland.com. And Tony, let's start right there. What's your thought on the decision made by Mike Pettine?
Well, I think the whole competition was geared for this result and wired for this result. It just got there in kind of ugly fashion because neither quarterback played well, and ultimately I think that this is a vote of confidence to Hoyer, and also a kind of a plea to pick up your game and rescue this situation because he has not played as well as he did a year ago.
Tony, what do you think the fans wanted the outcome to be?
Boy, they're 50-50 split. I mean, it has been that way from the start, and I think it's never wavered. And Johnny is a love him or hate him guy, and Hoyer's a hometown kid, and I think it's split down the middle from the very start.
Why do you think they took Manziel? Not just took him in the first round, traded up 4 spots to get him if the ultimate result is he's going to take a seat on the bench?
Well, Mike, I think they felt that, he was their second pick. They had a number 1 earlier, Justin Gilbert. And after trading for Buffalo's number 1 next year, they got 2 number 1s next year. I think they felt all of that made it a kind of a cushion not to have to start him right away if he doesn't win the job. And I think they expected Hoyer to play a lot better, and there are reasons he hasn't. And they felt that this wasn't a situation where it's do or die for Manziel. They didn't feel that pressure to start him right away.
Talking to Tony Grossi of ESPN Cleveland, I'm looking at the schedule. At Steelers, at home against the Saints, at home against the Ravens, and then a bye week.
Yeah.
What does it take for Hoyer to hold the job beyond the bye week? Because that seems to be the natural point at which you would turn and flip it over to Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, it's very convenient scheduling because you're right, those 3 games are going to set the theme for the whole season. First of all, if he would win in Pittsburgh, that gives him cred for a while there. That's like Cleveland's little Super Bowl. And winning the first game, they haven't done that in 14 or 15 years. So if he won the Pittsburgh game, I think that would get him past the bye. If he doesn't win in Pittsburgh, he's going to definitely have to win one of those first 2 home games, the Saints or Baltimore. Even his agent has said way back in June that he believes the leash will be very short, even if Hoyer is a starter. And I think that's going to be true for sure. What
happens, Tony, if we see a Derek Anderson phenomenon here like in 2007 when he led the team to a 10-6 record and then plunged the position into a deeper controversy with Brady Quinn in 2008?
Yeah, well, I mean, the other parallel to that is that Hoyer's contract is up too, just like Derek Anderson's was back then. So at some point, the Browns are going to have to come to a longer-term decision on Hoyer and Manziel, but I think that's way ahead, and they're tabling that for now. I mean, if Hoyer can somehow collect this situation and take advantage of it and win, at least put this team to the next stage of its development, that'll be real interesting to me to see what they do long term with Hoyer.
Wrapping up with Tony Grossi of ESPN Cleveland. What's the bigger Ohio story in the state of Ohio? Is it the Browns starting quarterback, or is it Ohio State loses Braxton Miller for the year?
Well, I don't know what it is south of here, but it's certainly all Browns here. I'm sure the farther you go down south on I-71, you get into Ohio State country, and that story would change. But Manziel, as you mentioned earlier, has just brought so much attention to this team and this competition that it's for a team that hasn't won more than 5 games in the last 6 years. I mean, they've just dominated the NFL headlines. So I would say the Browns for sure.
Great stuff, Tony. We'll be talking to you again, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Tony Grossi, ESPNCleveland.com.